Welcome to another episode of Soul Filling, where you get your soul fed. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Jasmine.
And I'm Kobe.
And today we wanted something light, something cheerful, something joyful to bring with you guys today. And we're talking about how to make life fun, because life should be what? Fun, lived, expressed, happy. So, mates, if your life is feeling down, or if it's feeling steady, or if you're feeling stuck, listen to this podcast. And even if you are having fun, still listen to this podcast so you can know how to have more fun in life. Ladies, are you ready to share your fundamental tips for the show?
Good one. Yes.
I see what you did there. Yes.
Well, first off, let's get in a life check. How are y'all feeling? How are y'all on the joyful meter? Let's get into it.
For me, I'm feeling good. This week has been a week. It started off feeling a little shaky, but honestly, I can say going toward the tail end of the week, I really feel that everything is just coming together. Everything is just working. Like we were just talking about before our pre-podcast, everything is just coming full circle. Everything is coming together. And I'm just, it just makes me realize, like, on those days when you having those down days, just understanding that, how can I say it, that it's only a temporary thing, but more so that you can still even find the good, even in the midst of the turmoil. But honestly, I can say right now, today, on this Saturday, but y'all probably listen to this on Tuesday, it's a good day. It's a great day. How about for y'all?
Love to hear that.
Y'all, look, just a quick bump date. I am 32 weeks now. So we have 8 more weeks. I'm just so excited, so anxious. I can't wait to meet baby boy. I am just, I'm on cloud 9 right now. So life is good. Like Drake and Future say, life is good.
It is what it should be.
Yes.
That's so awesome, guys. So let's go ahead and get into these tips. I'm happy to hear that y'all are happy. That means a lot to me. There's something about when your friends are happy, it makes you happy. It's like, okay, you doing good in life. All right. It's just something to strive to. And it's just like, it makes you feel better when you know that the people that you love are good. Okay. So I guess I'll start off with my first fundamental tip. Okay, the first one is say no. Say no to things that don't fill your soul. And this is something, to be honest, that I'm really, really, really bad at, is saying no to like opportunities. And opportunities are just so plentiful. But I'm talking about opportunities in like, so many opportunities could come your way, right? But if you cannot handle them all, now those opportunities turn into stress, you know? And so you're starting to be obligated to so many things that the opportunities aren't even fun anymore. And so I was watching someone's story the other day that really helped me. And she was going through the same thing. She was just like, oh my God, I have all these opportunities, da, 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 da. And she was like, but I have to realize that opportunities are endless. They're infinite for me, you know? So you don't have to take everything to be happy. Like and when you do take everything, you're living out of a place of lack. And sometimes people take things that they don't even want. And so to have a fun, joyful life, how can you have a fun, joyful life when you're obligated to everything else and everyone else except yourself. So what I'm saying is say yes to the things that feed your soul. Say no to the things that you can let go. And I feel like your life will be a lot more happier and more fun because now you have more time to do the fun things that you freaking love to do. Tip number one for me. That's what I'm learning. I'm saying no. And a lot of another thing that makes me happy is when opportunities do come my way and I have somebody in mind that I can give it to. Yo, that makes me so much happier. And you know what really got me yesterday? I was so happy. So a while back, someone asked me to do like a minute video, edit, like shoot a video and edit it. And I said yes. And then I realized, I thought to myself, I don't like editing video. I really don't. Yo, I don't like it. Y'all know this. But I know someone who is really good at it and can edit so fast because that's what she loves to do. And so instead, I just said like, hey, I could still do it, but would you mind if someone else does it? Because she's better and she could do it faster. And basically in my mind, I'm like, she would enjoy it more. I didn't care about getting any money from it. I'm just like, whoof, there you go. And then yesterday, the girl hits me up and was like, send me your Cash App. Like the girl I gave the opportunity to. And I'm like, for what? And she was just silent. And then I was like, okay. And then she sent me just like $20 because I referred her to the project. And for me, like, it's really not about the money. It's just about how dare you be so freaking kind. Like, I just am so thoughtful. So what I'm saying is, if you have abundant opportunities, sometimes it just feels better to give them away, and you don't know how grateful someone else can be and how grateful you could be in return. It's just such a transactional, I don't want to say transactional, but I want to say a transfer of energy that's just so deep in like servitude. I feel like servitude makes life fun too. Anyways.
Yeah, no, that's good. And then it's something about when you're not like busy, having this jam-packed schedule, that it gives you like freedom, gives you the opportunity to be spontaneous and to just do certain things. So like when certain opportunities do come up, it's like, you know what? Actually, I would like to go to brunch with you. I would like to go on this date with you. I would like to go out to the park. I would like to, just do this random thing that I'm feeling obligated to do. So it's good to not just be so jammed packed and filling up our days with so much stuff that we don't have the opportunity to be, spontaneous. Because I feel like that is what makes life fun too, those spontaneous moments. But
so true. That is so true. That is so important. You have to leave space for the fun things. And another thing, when your schedule is so jam packed, you realize like you don't have, like, we talk about this all the time. We do a lot of things. If you do things for like money, and you want this money to get freedom, but really you're just working harder, and now you don't have the freedom to do the things that you want to do, basically, which is what's most important to you. For me, it's family time, it's nature, it's friend time, it's fun time. Like I want to eat, I want to have fun. Fuck it, I want to have fun. But if your schedule is jam packed and someone does want to do something fun with you, now you're worried about the work that you have to do instead of enjoying the time with the people that you love and care about. So that's such a great point.
Yeah.
True. That is so true. And it makes me think, one of my points was how to know the difference between what you're good at and what you love. So, and I basically got it from the book, The Big Leap, but it made me think, when you're constantly packing things that just because you're good at something, and if you're living in that state of like the yes, going back to you have to say yes, just because you're good at it. Someone calls you, ask you for a photo shoot or for to build a website or anything. It's just because you're good at it. But you say yes because we don't know how to say no. And then we jam pack our schedules with the things that we're good at. And a lot of times we're the things we're good at can bring you and generate you revenue and but sometimes when you know the difference between the thing that you love, it's like you can do this thing and you can do it for hours. And we said this on the Art to Many Forms, but I'm just now reading the book, so this is why it's sticking. It's being reiterated, but it's like you work so many hours at this thing, like, or it don't even feel like work. You're putting in hours into this thing, and it doesn't even feel like you've been depleted. You look up and you don't even know where the time went, and it's just like, wow. And that's just because you were doing something that you love. But when sometimes we find ourselves doing something that we're good at and we do it too much or do it for so many hours, you feel drained. And so it's just like, I never thought, because I was always merging the two, like, oh, just because I'm good at it, I gotta love it. When really that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the case. You could be good at I don't know, you could be good at repairing things. You could be good at uh corresponding. You could be good at, but it's like, is that something that you want to do 12 hours a day, all day long? You have to really just ask yourself, are you going to feel drained? Are you going to feel, fulfilled at the end of the day? So knowing the difference between something that you're good at is something that you actually love, because then your life can be fun again if you start, switching that energy. Like, okay, I'm good at this. I'm not saying don't do the things you're good at, because you still got to live out here, but you can allot a certain amount of time to the things you're good at so that you can still have that enough time to allot to the things that you actually love.
Totally agree. And then it's just like, if you're overwhelming yourself with just the things that you're good at, there could be a possibility that you can also monetize doing the things that you love. If, making a living like, but you won't have or to put energy into those things so they can become beautiful, because you don't have time. And so it's just it's a real weird balance, and I ain't got the answers yet. I ain't read the book yet. But I just do know that when you say no to things, or when you let things go, it creates space for something new, something you love. And so all I'm basically saying is say no and say yes to like the right things. So make life fun.
So I have one, and I'm gonna say this has come just from the build up of the previous weeks of us talking about being honest with ourselves, and then taking that step to work on those things that we were honest about. And so I just say, don't wait to start. Do that thing that you've been wanting to do, that you've been scared to do. Stop playing it safe. Take the lead and take control of your life. And I know Tiff is like I'm a creator, so be a creator, create the life that you want. And that is, to me, what makes life exciting. That's what gives you that thrill. Whenever you're able to take the first step and to start something, it gives you that momentum. And then that momentum builds into excitement. You're like, okay, yeah, let's go. I can do this. You get that excitement. You're excited about life again. You're excited about the task that's in front of you, what could come out of that task. And so that's it. Do it.
I love that. I don't know who's going next. Okay, I can go. So what I would say is, like, yes, you do have to do it, because sometimes we try to like wait to like for the perfect moment, but the perfect moment is now. the perfect moment is when you really feel like the urge to do it. And so this kind of goes into two things. It's like we have so many things that we want to do in life. For me, I don't think that we all have just one specific purpose. I think multiple purposes we have in our lives. And what you have to understand is okay to do one thing at a time. Like it's okay if you want to be a DJ later, or you want to own a smoothie shop later, like whatever you want to do randomly. um you don't have to do it all, you don't have to do it all at the same time, and let yourself be okay with that. I feel like a lot of times we rush so many things, like, oh, I have to get a house, oh, I have to save this much, or I have to do this. If we could just do focus on one thing at a time, complete that, and be happy with that, that could be enough, and then move on to whatever the next thing is. If you can do multiple things, do them, but don't ever stress yourself out and thinking that you are in a lack of something, like you're in a lack of time, or you're in a lack of whatever it is. Because you do, honestly, you do have more time, and you do have time, and you just want to be able to really put the needed energy into whatever it is you want to do, and not be putting that energy in so many different places, if that makes sense. So just know that you have time.
Yeah, and it seems like we don't have time sometimes because, for one, if we just being real with ourselves, we know we can have a tendency to procrastinate. And so we judge our procrastination like, man, if I would have just started, when I said I was going to start, I know I'm talking about myself, like, then I could be this much further. And then, the media doesn't help because we're judging ourselves, comparing ourselves like, oh, this person's my age and they already have A, B, C, or D. And so with that, I do want to just let us know that everyone is moving on their own path, their own journey. So it's not for us to necessarily compare our present to someone else's present, or our future to someone else's future, because I honestly know that no matter where you are, you're right where you're supposed to be, if that makes sense. And so with where you are, you can always move in the direction you want to go right where you are right now. It doesn't mean that you late to the party, you're behind, or just the things we tell ourselves, these narratives that we tell ourselves. So I did want to talk about how with that, to eliminate that whole comparison, the anxiety. It's just, I feel like we really have to become more present, to make life fun again. And with becoming more present, it can allow you to be in the moment you are in now, like really enjoying, whether that's family that's around you, even if it's just a something as small as a dinner, going to a dinner with your loved ones, instead of just rushing through the moment, not really experiencing the people, having fun around you, making conversation, the little things, but making those memories. I think that's what it's really truly about, making the memories, being present in the memories, being present in the moment, so that you do have something to because I think that's what also makes life fun, when you can look back at something. I was looking back in our phone and seeing our adventures, our trips, and things that we used to do, and I'm just like, dang, my life was popping, and I just got so happy. And then I got a little like sad, like, dang, we can't do that right now because of the whole pandemic. But I'm just like, those memories, and you don't even realize you making the memories in the moment until you have to come back and look at the memories. And so being present in the moment right now, so that in the future you'll have beautiful, beautiful memories to come look back on and say, man, I did that was my life. Like, my life is really popping. And like, it's a fulfillment in a way, like a huge fulfillment, to just go back through your memories and see things of you and your friends, you and your family, you and your loved ones, the people that help bring you joy. So I think that, and then also that ties into one of my other points, was being around people that makes life fun, that help like makes you, adds to your happiness. And so being present with those people, along with creating memories with those people, capturing those memories, I think those are all things that, make my life fun. That can help.
Ooh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Something you said made me think about you talking about stress and anxiety and comparison. And it just made me think about we can't think about what other people, we can't be worried about what other people think. So a lot of times that prevents us from having fun and doing things that we like to do, or it makes us feel a way. I know Kyle recently went on a trip for a bachelorette weekend. It was like a joint trip, and he's a big fisher, and so he bought his fishing equipment to be able to go out and do that. And some of the other people were like looking at him crazy, like he this big country dude. Like, what? You brought fishing equipment? We out here in Mexico trying to live it up, party, dude. You want to fish? Like, what? So it's just like you have to move to the beat of your own drum, do things that make you happy, because like it makes you happy. Like you can't be worried about what other people are doing. And then on the same note, that just kind of ties into, I don't know if y'all remember when we did the episode about celebrating. And when you're celebrating, we talked about like how, most people think to celebrate, you have to have this big spectacular party or do this big spectacular thing. It's the same with this, with fun and with having fun. Like a lot of times we think it has to be something big and extravagant and spectacular. And it's really just the small things. So going along with what Jazz said, being in the moment, you don't have to spend a lot of money. You don't have to go on a big fancy trip. It's just really what Jazz said, making memories with the people around you, being present and being in that moment. It doesn't have to be fireworks and parades and dancing and, it's just whatever makes you happy in that moment. Do that.
That's so good. And I wonder if like, people really take the time out to think about like what makes them happy, because a lot of times we're always focused on what other people's happiness is, like we want to make sure our mother's happy. We want to make sure our brother, everyone's happy, but really prioritize like what makes you happy, but also learn what makes you happy. You know what I mean? And really think about it. Like, what are a few things that make you guys personally happy? For me, it's just like it's nature, it's dancing, it's exploring something new. Nowadays, it's like decorating.
Girl, yeah.
Yes,
Food, eating. Come on, we love to eat.
we love eating.
Girl, if food is involved, count me in.
And so
Shopping. I love to go shopping. I might even have no money. I might not even have the intentions to go and buy something. It's just the fact that I am in a store looking at stuff, touching stuff, feeling, just fantasizing about, it just,
Yeah.
so fun about it.
yeah,
I love that. I love that. That's true. That is so true. Kobe used to travel a lot for work, and she had like this ritual where she had to go to every Ross and Marshall. She just had to be in the vicinity in every town, every city.
yes,
That's so true.
And retail therapy is a must.
it is a must.
That's
And it also knows that you deserve the things that you like. And so basically, it's just like remind yourself, what do you like to do? And how long has it been since you've done those things? And really prioritize those things, because why aren't you doing the things that make you happy? So many, I just want y'all to think about or write down like the top 3 things that you really like to do and are really happy doing, and make it a point to do those. And if you can't get to those things, don't stress about it, but just know like, okay, I didn't get to that today, but tomorrow I'm gonna take myself on a walk. I'm gonna go shopping. I'm going to cook something that I love. So
yes.
because you deserve that. I think, and also I think that's another thing. Like, I think a lot of people, even when I say a lot of people, I'm talking to myself. Sometimes we don't think
Me too.
that we deserve something. Like, it's really hard for me to buy things. To be honest, like, I overthink it. I'm like, and it's a good thing and a bad thing, because I'm like, do I really, really want this? Does it bring me joy? Am I gonna think about it if I miss it? Like, and then, but it comes to a point
Mhm.
where it's just like, yeah, I do want this. I want to buy this, and this is gonna make me happy. And also, I deserve it. I work hard. So it's just like knowing that you deserve it, even if you don't work hard. Like, sometimes, like, you just deserve it because you're a living human being. And so of course you want to make sure that you can afford it, but all that stuff. But yeah, because we only have one life to live, so it might as well be fun, and you might as well eat off the type of plates that you want. I just bought some plates yesterday, so there's that. All right.
Yes. No, I wanted to piggyback on that though, because that is real. And a lot of times I do find myself talking myself out of doing things that are fun to me, because I'm like, oh, my priorities. I'm like trying to balance out my priority list. Like, oh, this is where I really need to be doing A, B, C, or D. But sometimes you really have to balance it. You can't just overload your schedule with priorities and not have fun on there, or you can't overload your schedule with fun and not have priorities on there. So it's a twofold thing. You can't just be turning up having a great time, or you can't just be burying yourself till you become, it can really cause a huge weight and a strain on yourself. So i do I didn't even, when I was thinking to your question, when you said what do we like to do for fun, and then I was just like, what do I like to do? I don't want to say I don't know what I like to do, but I really feel like somehow um the things I like to do for fun, I don't know if I'm clouding them with the things that are on my to-do list. Cause, well, no, I can't say that, because I do love being in nature. I also love family time. Anything to do with family and being with my family, I really love that. But then at the same time, I feel like that can be one of my priorities as well. So it family time is different from um what is the word, from the things you have to do with family, like you got to do homework, you got to clean. That is different from we're going to have a dinner together as a family, we're going to have a game night. Like, it's things you intentionally do to have fun with your family, if that makes sense. It's two different things. So just really prioritizing the fun times with my family, opposed to the things that we have to do together, because this is just a must, a non-negotiable. But also, one thing I find that really just, I don't know, just makes me super happy is now playing with my dog, going outside and just playing with my dog, and it's like a 2-in-1, because I don't know, humans, we don't deserve dogs. They're so amazing to us. Now, actually, I think God intentionally made us domesticate these dogs because they knew we needed them. But it's good because it even forces me to make sure I'm being outside on a regular, connected with nature and things like that. But yeah, I think we really have to prioritize and balance the things that we do for fun and the things that that we have to actually get done, priorities.
That's so true. And because also, when we do the things that we love and we make time for, it can recharge us to do the things that we need to get done. Like, sometimes if I'm in the middle of work and I'm just drained, I go outside and I'm like, okay, let me put my yoga mat out, let me stretch, let me drink a smoothie bowl, and then I'm gonna get back to what I gotta do. And a lot of times we put the fun to the back burner. So we're like, I'm gonna do all this first, and then I'm going to go for a walk, or I'm gonna go see my family. But sometimes it's okay to, like, allot time to have a break. Like, if you're working for 4 hours straight or 7 hours straight, there should be some breaks between that. You need to get up and stretch your back. You need to eat. You need to walk. You need to get sunlight, because these are things that are just so important for us living. And it's a recharging for us to get back to work, to get back to what we need to do.
Right.
And so don't look at it so much as like, we look at life as like, oh, we have to earn fun. Like I do this.
Right.
I'm like, if I get this done, then I'm gonna do, then I could do this. But no, like you could a lot of times in the midst of the chaos to just breathe and take a break and enjoy life. Like, I do this because Jazz, you came over the other day. Yeah, I was working, but I'm about to take a break if my friend comes over and I haven't seen her in a long time. We need to talk. I needed that recharge. And when you left, I was already in the zone when Jarvis came to pick you up to get back to work. But it was such a needed time. And I also didn't feel guilty spending time with you, because it's like, you're my best friend and I care about you, and I prioritize the people I love, and I'm gonna enjoy them because that's what life is.
I think my dog heard me talking about him, so now he wants to jump on me. Sit down. Oh, no, that's true, Tiff. And you just made me think about something. A lot of times we think if we earn our play, so to speak, our recess time, like if I work hard, then I'm gonna be more productive. But sometimes if we take that break, give ourselves that mental, rest, then come back, we will be more productive, because we've allowed ourselves, to decompress for a little moment, relax, chill, wind down. And then it's like, okay, now your brain has time to recharge. But versus, we constantly just, I gotta go. And then it's to the point we're constantly draining ourselves and not even knowing it. And shout out to you, Tip, because you was in the middle of working. I was like, Tip, you want to come on a walk? She was like, girl, I done got in my zone. I can't move. I'm like, okay, girl, I got you. Go ahead and get it.
Also, I want you to spend time with Babe. I didn't want to be a fourth wheel. It was her dog, Jarvis, and Jazz. I'm like, I'm gonna let them go take their little couples walk. I ain't gonna get into me to me. But also I did have to get back to work. But so yeah. But another thing is also, and this is what I'm realizing with myself, when we talk about procrastination is it has a lot of anxiety attached to it. For me, when something is not done, I do have anxiety about it because I need to get it done. But sometimes we procrastinate because we don't actually want to do something. And so it's like, why are you really procrastinating? Because you don't procrastinate on the things that you like to do, really, like on the easy stuff. So think about your job. You usually don't procrastinate on the things that you like to do. So a trick to that is like, do the things that you don't like first so you can get it out the way. Like for me, if it's anything to do with editing a video, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. It's too big of a task to me in my mind. But when I actually do it, it's not that hard. It's just like I have to get into that zone. And so what I'm saying is, like, we say this all the time, eat the frog first, which is a horrible metaphor, but eat the frog first. Meaning just do the big things, the things that are heavy that you dread doing first, and get that out the way so you can go on and be having space to do the things that you actually like to do. And so I know that's something I have to work on, is like doing the things, the tedious little things, so I can be more happy and have space and time, not worrying about, oh, I have to edit this video later. Oh, I have to make these flyers, like, something that's just, I don't want to do. Get it out the way. If you're obligated to it, sometimes you can just let it go.
Real. And that's just the reality, the nature of the beast. That's life. We are gonna have to do things we don't want to do. Like, we just have to put that out there. Like, I know we're saying we want to make life fun, knowing the difference between what you're good at and what you love. But like in life, you're gonna have to do things you don't like to do. If you have a child, you're gonna have to do things you don't have to like. I mean, you're gonna have to do things that you don't necessarily like to do. That's not fun. Taking those dental appointments, those doctor's appointments, doing the priorities of life is not always just gonna necessarily be fun. But like Tiff said, you have to prioritize the non-fun things by putting them first so that they don't go on the back burner, and we how we procrastinate to the point to where we don't actually even get the things that are necessary just because they're not the funnest things to do. So I do think that's a good thing, a great point that you brought up, but just realizing that it's still even a part of life, like the not so fun things, and finding ways to prioritize those things in a way to where they're not draining. And it makes me think about on last week's episode when we talked about systems making things automatic. So the things that you don't like, that you're not fond of, making those things automatic. So it's like you don't even got to think about those things. You already know you don't like it. So it's like we already crossed that bridge. So we ain't even got to rethink that. So it's like, since you know that you don't enjoy doing this particular thing, finding a way to make it automatic. So you don't even have to think about this thing. Like, I'm about to say some fun things, so this kind of goes against, but like how, I love that in my family growing up, we had like a tradition, like Sunday dinner was a thing. Like if we didn't eat together all week on Sundays, we was all gonna sit at the table, and it was just like something that was automatic. Now, this was something that we actually love to do, but now I'm like, okay, so, and even with podcasts, we know that every Saturday is record day, no matter what. And even Tiffany, you release our episodes every Tuesday, no matter what, even though on the back end, you have to go through some things that you might not like doing, such as editing and things of that nature, just to make sure every Tuesday is automatically there, no matter what. So sometimes we have to prioritize the things that we don't like doing so that we can have the things that we do like to do at the certain deadline or on time and things of that nature.
Yeah, while you can. And there will come a point that we will have an editor. But at this point we can't, well, maybe we can. We could talk about that on another time. But like sometimes you have to just start with what you have and knowing that that's enough as well, and being happy with that. But another thing is, it's just like, it's okay, because you know how I was saying, like at the beginning, say no to things and say yes to the things that you love. Sometimes you're like, all right, Tiff, I got you, but I already said yes. And so I'm already about to do this. Whatever situation you are in, you're in it and you're obligated to it. And so what I'm saying is like, be okay with that. You just take responsibility for where you are right now. For me, it's just like, in the past, like I had so many things to do. So I had to tell myself, I had to rewire myself, instead of saying like, oh, I have all these things to do, into changing into like, oh my God, I have the opportunity to do all these amazing things. And you know what? I'm going to kill it. Like I have to tell myself, instead of like, oh, dang, like, oh, man, I don't feel like doing this. Like, nope. People put value in me. I'm about to kill it. Like, not only am I going to do these things, I'm going to do them well. My reputation is going to be good. And I'm going to leave them knowing that I did my dang thing. You know what I mean? And so it's just like, it's a real mindset shift of like, instead of like so harboring on all these tasks or whatever it is, whether it's just like bills, whether it's like, oh my God, all these kids coming over my house, like how I'm going to do this. It's like, okay, I peep this. I peep these tough things, but knowing me and knowing my God, I ain't never slipped up yet. I ain't never felt I ain't dead. So it's just like, whatever it is, I can do it. Yeah, it may be tough, but I also want to look at like the other side. Like, I'm gonna get through this. Like, this might be a rough week, this might be a rough month, but come November 13th, it's on and popping. And now I learned from the situation that I put myself in, and no, I ain't never ever gonna put myself in that thing again. So whatever it might be, like you might be in a tough situation, but take responsibility and full ownership of what you are dedicated to, because we want to be loyal to our word. If you can pass it off or whatever that's morally right. But just take full ownership of it, and instead of looking at it as a hassle, look at it as a challenge. But also at the end of the day, some days I'm just like, dang, Tiff, like you really, yeah, what's up? Like you really wrecked this. Like you really did this. Like can't nothing hold me back. And so, but would I put myself in that situation again? No. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Uh-uh. I really wouldn't. So, but it's really a mindset shift. Even on those bad days, like going back to what Jasmine was saying earlier, the day we met, you were having a really bad day. But it's just like knowing in the back of your head, like this bad day is bad, but tomorrow might be better. And that's very important when you do have those good days, when you do feel good, to really cherish them, because bad days will come, but good days will come after. So, really cherish the good days, and on the bad days, know like everything is still working out for your good. And it's okay to have bad days. It's okay, but just have that hope on the other side. So, do y'all have any other tips?
Yes, I'm gonna switch gears a bit and just talk about like how sometimes we can get, bored with life, especially when we're like just in this routine and we're doing the same thing. Wake up, go to work, be, take care of the kids, take care of, your husband or your spouse, work at night, just it's like this mundane, you feel like a robot. And so my advice to that is just to kind of bring diversity to your time and, just switch it up a bit, take the scenic route home instead of taking the highway sitting in traffic, you know. Just do just go out and explore a bit, find some things that you want to do that you haven't done before, learn a new language, learn some new words in a pick up the dictionary, learn some, I'm just throwing some wild things out there, I don't know, but get yourself a makeover, switch up your hair, switch up your wardrobe, rearrange your house, because I feel like that right there can make us just feel kind of just like blah, and just like, what is life? Like, I'm just coming to the same house, same husband, same looking in the mirror, the same face,
No,
same.
real.
So
No.
it's just like switch it up, make your life a little bit more interesting by trying new things, exploring, getting to know yourself again in this new phase of your life. Challenge yourself, you know.
Real. Real. I'm gonna just have to piggyback because that's so true. I found myself getting on autopilot, feeling like a robot at one point, because it was just like you go to work, come home, make dinner, go to sleep, watch, rinse, repeat. That's what it was starting to
Yeah.
feel like. And I was not, and it was just like, first to start off good. You're like, oh, I got my little routine down together. And then next thing you know, it's just like your days are blurring and merging into one. And it's just
Yes.
like, and then it's like, okay, you look up and it's like, what am I doing? What is happening right now? What is life? Like you feel like you're starting to live a life that doesn't have purpose or meaning anymore, because it's like you're in this tunnel vision space. And so I couldn't agree with you more with finding ways to switch it up, doing something creative. I love how you said take the scenic route to work. I mean, take the scenic route, because that was one of my things that I had wrote down in 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 life. Because let's say that one little commute you coming from work to home, and it even talks about this with dogs when you're taking them on a walk, taking them on the scenic route. Because imagine, and I assume that this works the same thing for humans in our minds. So if you take your dog on the same walk every day, the dog tends to get bored because they know what to expect, they know what's to come next. If you taking yourself on the same route when you come home from work every day, it's like, that moment there. It's just not even how you got there, but you took the route so many times. You can do it with your eyes closed practically. Don't close your eyes behind the wheel, y'all. But you can do it with your eyes closed. And so when I found myself, I started to do that, to take a more scenic route. And I love doing it just because I love houses and looking at, different styles of homes. And I just look in neighborhoods and like, oh, okay. I didn't know I wanted that, but that's what I'm gonna get so it's just, it just encourages you, and you can see different businesses like, oh, okay, on the weekend, we're gonna have to go try out this Bluff Burger joint or whatever. So it also gives you more ideas. You also get to see your city, little cool things that you didn't even know was there, little discoveries, little hidden gems. So I just definitely think it does something to mentally stimulate our minds when we do deviate off our normal routine of life. And that little small something is taking a different route to work could lead to you doing something on this side of town for the weekend. And now, you have something to do over the weekend, or you found this cool park over there that you can now go explore. So it's helping you discover and broaden your horizons. I really, really think that that's what that does when you take another route to work. It's something powerful. I don't know. I be feeling like I'm on a whole quest. Sometimes I have to put my GPS on to be like, okay, let me figure out how to get out of here. Because I be getting lost sometimes. I look up, I'm like, okay, it's 6 o'clock. I need to really get home now.
That's so true. I be taking the different walks. I remember when quarantine first happened, me and my mom, it was just me and her. So we would go to different neighborhoods to go walking. Like we went to walking in all these different neighborhoods because we were so tired of walking in our own neighborhood that we've been walking in for the past, as long as we've been there, which is like 20 plus years, 25 plus years. And so it was something new and something to make you expand your horizon, and just environment change keeps things exciting. And what's funny is just recently I like on my Spotify for some reason, Ella Fitzgerald came on, and she's like a jazz singer from like back in the day. Mm-hmm. And I am obsessed. Like her music is so soulful. And right when her music started playing in my house, I was like, yo, am I in a different place? Like, am I in a different, like, where am I? And so it's just like even new smells, new music. Like I literally envision myself, I'm over here working. I felt like I was in the 60s, I think, I don't know, 50s, I don't know, whatever. And I was like, ooh, I want to be like in a jazz club. And I just want to be like, I just started imagining a new world, even though I was right here where I'm at. And it doesn't even take you leaving the house sometimes. It could just have you thinking and expanding your horizon. Like, so yesterday I was riding in the car with my mom, and I put on my new jams. Like, I'm like, she was like looking at me, she's like, Tiffany, who are you? Every time you leave and go somewhere, she was like, you come back different. She's like, when you went to college, you came back vegetarian. Now you got your own apartment, and now you listen to jazz music. And I'm just like, I don't know. It's just like, I just go with whatever fills my soul. Yeah. But if y'all come over my house, that's what y'all will probably be listening to.
Now. Something else I forgot to say too with that mundane, like that routine. For my single folks, you got to get out there, put yourself out there, date some people, and date different people. I know a lot of us, we have a certain type, and we like just discount people based off of what they, oh nah, he got some them shoes ain't gonna work. Nah, I can't do it. You're looking at the outfit, looking at the face, just our visual. We don't even give brothers a chance. We just crossing them out. Just have a little fun, live a little, entertain somebody different. And then for my folks who are in relationships and married, you got to switch up that routine. Can't just get a side booty no more. Come on, do it in the kitchen, do it in the living room, bed. Hey, switch it up. Switch it up.
You have a washing machine. Okay.
That's all I'm saying. Is some excitement. Come on, that's how people live.
I love it.
Go meet them for lunch. for work in the car, parking in the back somewhere, hey.
Spontaneity, come on.
Yes.
And even just doing different things. I mean, it doesn't have to be sexual related, but just like doing. But I that's great. But
Definitely.
doing different date things that are different. Maybe like going dancing, going to a new spot. You always go to this spot. Like go to another different spot. Maybe just like do something different when someone comes home. I don't know. Actually, y'all probably are the ones. I'm just thinking. Like I feel like that's what you're supposed to do, something different. Because I would hate to be bored in a relationship. I'd be thinking that because I'm like, I really like being alone these days. I'm like,
it's supposed
it's
to be
gonna take a lot.
Like people make it seem like it's just prison, it's just jail, and once you in a relationship, it's just all over. Like, no. That's what I'm saying. Switch up your hair, be, Keisha, Chandra, role play, do
right.
It sounds like fun. But you're right about that being the single part. I can attest to that because I have to date more people. And I have to be more open to like dating more than one person. I'm really bad at that because I'm like, oh, I be feeling bad. Like, oh, I went on one date with you and I feel like I'm obligated to you. Like I need to be able to like date. And also another thing is be able to say when I want to go somewhere. Cause I'm always like, he needs to ask me out, blah, 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 blah. But sometimes I'm like, maybe I should just say like, hey, can we go? I don't even have to like you that much.
Just do it. Stop following. We always think it's had to be a rule and we got to stick to this and the man got to do this and I got to do this. I got to be this way. He got to be this way. Even just date outside your race. Even if you're not going to marry this person, like just date other people. I'm serious. Just try it just to see like what perspectives and what things are out there. Give it a chance. Go for a drink. You ain't gotta steal your whole life. You can just go for a drink.
She's totally be reading me on these podcasts because she be telling me exactly what I need to do. Go get your health exam. Date more. I'm like, all right, I'm taking those. Next podcast, I'll let y'all know how it go.
Okay, yes.
I'm done. And one of the things about like living out your life is literally living and doing the things that you want to do in life. Like
right.
There's so many internal battles of like, should I do this? Should I not? Like, especially for me in dating, like sometimes I'm like, I just want to go out and have fun. I don't even want anything. I just want to have fun with a man, a man that I think is cute and talk. But like even right now, I'm thinking in my head like, these niggas just be wanting other things and you ain't coming in my house.
You can stop that. Like clank clank. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow or this weekend.
Or you not Tiffany. You not Tiffany. You are
create an alter ego.
Yeah, you somebody else. You're not gonna give out no number, you ain't got no Instagram, you ain't got no Facebook. You just this random shit you can come up with. I don't know.
Right?
That's so funny. But I think that we should just, as a people, in anything that we're doing, we should just do more of what we want to do.
Yeah.
Instead of thinking so much, because I know that's a major thing for me. It's just like I think about everything, which I think is a good and bad thing. But sometimes it's just like it leaves you stuck in not actually living life or exploring people or just getting to know people as humans. And and I feel like why we miss that so much. We put so much pressure on, are we gonna be friends? Are we gonna be soulmates? Are we gonna be like it's just gonna be further in whatever type of relationship? It's just gonna go further than whatever it is.
Right.
Instead of just like, hey, like I think you're really good at this, Jasmine. Because you just stop and talk to anyone. They have a dog, you're like, oh, what's your dog's name? I'm like, Jasmine's friendly ass. Like she can literally talk to anybody. And I'm just like, I'm really not like that, even though I'm very friendly. And I just see how she just organically builds relationship, and it just puts me at awe. Like I'm like,
Aww.
that's so cool. But I wish I was more like that.
I
So
really think it's the dogs. I honestly think it's the dogs. Dogs that really make anybody talk. Like, it don't matter what your ethnicity, how old, young. Like, if you got a dog, you can talk to anybody. I really think it just opens it up and makes it. Because I was telling Jarvis that we was at the dog park the other day, and we was just having conversations with everybody talking about. I was like, look at the dogs. They over here making Republicans talk to Democrats. They over here making Asians talk to whites, blacks talk to youngs. Like, I don't know. I was just like, the dogs is bringing the world. I'm like, we don't deserve them. We don't deserve them because they. Nah, I seriously, because we was having conversations with just about anybody. People were coming up to us, talking to us. I was just like, why can't this be like this all the time? And so I was like, I'm gonna try to make conversations, no matter, like Kobe was saying, date outside your race, date, people,
y'all
just
know my,
be.
I'm sorry every time y'all say that. I'm like,
You ain't
oh,
gotta marry the person, but you can date, because I just think it's I'm starting to have another viewpoint, but yeah, let's just say I just feel like we should have that freedom. God didn't put all of us on this planet to just stay confined to not learn about other cultures. At least just
oh yeah, for sure.
we can learn and to understand, because I just feel like, how can we know truly who another culture is unless you learn them? And I honestly, I'm just so happy, because I've always been, when I was in college, although I went to a HBCU, it was so diverse to where I met people from just about every island there was: St. Lucia, Trinidad, Tobago, Africa, different parts of Africa, Kenya, Burkina Faso, Congo, just Nigeria, everywhere. And it was, and not even just that, from the baseball team, I met people that were from Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico, Mexican, South Brazilian, Venezuelan. So it was just like that huge melting pot that I experienced in college. And now coming out of college, now teaching at the school that I teach at, where it's predominantly Hispanic, it's just, and what I'm learning, with, in spite of all these cultures, that all of us, we actually care about the same thing, the exact same thing. It's so funny to me. Like, all mothers want the best for their children. All kids, they just want to have friends and have fun with their friends and do some hood rat stuff with their friends and make some bad decisions with their friends, and be class clowns with, how your friends just give you that courage. And so it's just like, it's the same stuff we do, like the same stuff they do. Like, and we really, essentially, we all care about the same thing. We all like good food. We all like hanging out with our family. All our values are very, 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 very identical. But it is like those cool little cultural spins that you can learn about different cultures. I just think it makes you understand and appreciate your culture when you learn about other cultures as well.
That's funny. No, I love all cultures too, but yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. I do love all cultures, and yes. So, oh, that sounds so bad. I don't want y'all to think that I don't, but because it is very important to expand your horizon. But I'm really big on like really building up the Black community, because it's just been so broken down. So I put my energy towards that more than anything. Because
Right.
it's a culture that we have, but sometimes we don't even take it for our own.
That's
So
real.
but yeah,
But for me,
but
what
it,
I found and
mhm.
this is just me, I found when I learned about other cultures, it made me want to take those same, not same values, but I love how prideful I, my African cultures are, like, especially my West African cultures. They have so much pride in themselves. They feel like they can do anything, like no matter what. Like, and I'm like, ooh, we could need to adopt that. Or I just feel like, I hope I'm articulating this correctly. It's something I'm trying to say. Well, I just feel like I learn more, and it also makes me want to share my culture even more with. Yeah, I just feel like it makes me love, like, I just love the unity that the Hispanic culture have, and I'm like, oh, Black people, we need to have that same unity. You know what I mean? Like separating the division amongst my own Black culture. Of course, I really want the best for Black culture. That's my number one agenda. Just like I think if you're Hispanic, you should want the best for your culture. Indian, you should want the best for your culture. I definitely think, but I love that. I think it took me, maybe I should say that, seeing the pride that other cultures have in themselves to say, you know, I want to have that same pride about my culture and be unapologetically about it at that. But that's it. I'm going on a tangent.
Yeah, that's so true. Um, I think one of the last things that I want to talk about is just like being being putting your life at ease. You know, we put so much on ourselves. And I think if we just realize that us just literally being in existence is enough. And that abundance is still our birthright if we don't do anything at all. And I was listening to the podcast by the Friend Zone, and I think this is really what triggered this episode. Is how Hey Friend Hey, they were talking about purpose, and they're like, "What is purpose?" And sometimes people tie purpose to like, "Oh, I need to be like a famous singer," or "Oh, I need to own this big company," or something that's just, you know, so big. Like we have such a need to be special, and we don't realize like our purpose, like to me, is not tied to like the title that I have. It's a purpose, and like I want, one of my purposes to help Black community, and that may be on a big scale or a large scale. My purpose could be to make sure that people live a life of joy. That could be from me just living in joy, or me talking about joy in a podcast. And so sometimes like I feel like we put so much pressure on ourselves, and I think it's great if you want to be this great whatever you want to be, but also know like your purpose isn't tied to your title. Your purpose is like, how are you going to leave people on this earth? And it's not tied to like a title to me. And I just think if more people just learned that and knew that like, hey, you don't have to be a million things. You could just be you. You merely existing is enough, and living a life of ease is enough. um I think that's a beautiful thing, because I think a lot of times we think that we even have to struggle. We talked about this in a podcast we did a long time ago. Like we think that we have to struggle in order to be great. And why do we think that? We don't. Oh, I think that sometimes we think that happens because we actually think that. And I think if we just change our mindset, it's just like, no, I can have things come to me easily and frequently in abundance. We can without going through pain. Like I don't think that I have to be cheated on to find someone that is gonna love me the right way. I think that whoever I date could love me and love me forever. You know, who can be my soulmate. But sometimes we just think that we have to just, I don't know, we have to be this great big thing in order to be enough in this life, when we need to know that we are enough just exactly the way we are right now. And I think that's what brings joy to life, because you're not like I think you should strive, but so you're not striving so much that you're not enjoying the essence of just being alive. So yeah, so that I don't know. I don't know if I really articulated that well. It's just I just want people to know like we put so much pressure on yourself when really you are literally amazing, because you're literally living and breathing. Like
Real.
you know.
I love that. And I know we talked about this on some previous podcasts, but it we equate our worth, or how worthy we are of something, and sometimes we associate that with associated with the, like you said, the pain. I had to grind, I had to get it out the mud, or we feel like um mainly, yeah, we didn't work hard enough. We don't have enough. We haven't amassed enough titles, enough, what's the word? Enough status, enough stature to say that we have earned this thing. But we have to really, like you said, we really have to get that out of our mind, because it's all about our thinking process. So hold on just a sec. Sorry, they were kind of loud in the background. Okay, so it's like we have to really, you know, strip those, I don't even know if they're internal beliefs or beliefs that we were taught when we were younger, but we have to get rid of that motive to thinking in order for us to be successful, we have to have A, B, C, or D. Even in the Bible, it states like you don't need all these external, these worldly accolades to get to the thing that you want to do, that you want. It doesn't, I mean, of course they don't say it like that in context, but basically all we need to do is trust God, trust and love God, actually acknowledge, because there's a scripture that says draw nigh to God and God will draw nigh to you. So if you draw closer to God, God will draw closer to you. It doesn't happen any other way. So if you don't put that first step forward first, then God is not going to be able to meet you halfway. So I honestly think a lot of times it's probably not this hard, but we trick ourselves, psych ourselves, tell ourselves, and only believe the only way. It's all about that belief. We only believe the only way we can get it is, like I said, the going through a difficult or rough or tough, some type of challenging road. But wipe that out. Okay.
Yeah, it's so important too, because I think it's just because, and I've probably been talking about this a lot in the last few episodes, it's just because I've seen it. I've been seeing it lately. I've been seeing so much abundance, and I've been seeing in other people and in myself, but so much abundance that comes at a ease. And that's why we talk about automation a lot. Like, you can make money, a lot of money, at ease. You just have to have a system, and you also just have to believe that you can. You Because if you don't, because like a lot of times, like I say, like we might need an editor. We might really could afford an editor, but I think like still gotta grind. Like, girl, you've been grinding for 4 years. At some point, you have to invest in something that's gonna make your life easier, knowing that that investment is going to actually make you more money in the long run. Like, sometimes we feel like, oh, we have to do all these things so we don't have to outsource, so we don't have to spend money. But really, the investment is going to propel you to have a fun life and also make more. And so it's just like we put the struggle on ourselves sometimes, when really we need to look at, well, wait a minute, how can I really make life easier? What if, and you have to believe that you can, because sometimes life can be easier, but you are scared to take the risk to make it easier, because you think, oh, if I do this, I don't know if I could really do it. But if I work hard and I do this, for sure I could do this. But doing this, that seems a little risky. Sometimes the easier part, the risky part is easier, and you have to believe in that vision. So I really want to explain this better, but hopefully y'all catch what I'm dropping. so yeah, we just really have to believe that we can have abundance at ease.
That's so true. And we believe, though, on the flip side, we believe, oh, if I work hard, if I do this, if I cut the cost by doing this, we believe that that's going to get us to wealth. But if we use that same amount of belief to delegate and navigate, it can all lead you to wealth or to whatever it is that you want. I just want us to understand that it doesn't take doing the most. It can, like, I think both paths can lead to success. I don't want to discount and say, oh, the only way you can get there is by delegating, or the only way you can get there is by, cutting the costs and doing it yourself. Both are can be done efficiently, but sometimes I feel like we only believe that the way that one way, the way that requires us the most work, that's the only way that's possible, versus the path that has the least amount of resistance, because we've been conditioned to think hard work pays off. So instead of easy work pays off, light work pays off.
Smart.
Smart work pays off, efficient work pays off. We don't really think about those things.
Yeah, yeah, and it's gonna be different from different people because we all grew up very different. Someone who grew up in a rich household whose parents just give them money, they're not gonna think twice. Like, oh, I need to start this YouTube. Let me hire a videographer and an editor. Oh, I want to be have a blog, or maybe I just want to post really good pictures on Instagram. Let me hire a photographer. They're not thinking about this because they already have. So sometimes, we start at different places. So I understand, like, yeah, there may be a point, but there also know the point in which you can delegate. It don't feel like you have to hoard everything. Like, there comes a point, yes, you'll grind, but if you could find an easier way, I'm saying find an easier way for yourself so you can be happier, and live a more joyful life. So yeah. Do y'all have any more tips? Nope. All right, guys. I hope. Oh, this has to be the last tip. I'm sorry. I have a lot of tips, but I'm not gonna go through all of them. But live out a place of gratitude. At the end of the day, to make it, if you're ever feeling any type of down, if you're feeling like life isn't fun, literally just look around and count your blessings. I'm talking about look at your fingers, look at your toes, look at your legs, look at the leaves, look at the moon, look at your mom, look at your brother, look at your nephew, look at your friends, and then you'll realize, whew, you can't live out a space of gratitude and like sadness at the same time. You'll realize, like, ooh, I'm actually very, very happy right now because you're living out a place of thankfulness. So being grateful for everything as you go through life. We know that if you watched the Spark Joy with Marie Kondo on Netflix, we talked about this in another podcast about how she, before she lets anything go, she thanks it. And so as we walk through life, thank the things that we have. Thank you, computer, for having this Zoom. Thank you, refrigerator, for working and storing my my food. Thank you, legs, for keeping me walking. Thank you, lungs, for keeping me breathing. Thank you, God, for having me here. Thank you, God, for giving me a family that loves me. It's just like, if you thank you, table, for holding up my computer. Just there's so many things to be thankful for, that we walk past every single day. But at the end of the day, we have so much more to be grateful for than anything. And that really makes life fun. So live out a space of gratitude. All right, guys. Y'all know what time it is.
It's affirmation time. It's affirmation time. It's affirmation time. Y'all, if this is your first time tuning in on the Soul Filling Podcast, we always end our podcast with a positive affirmation. So what the heck is an affirmation? An affirmation is any statement that you are using to transform your life. Even in the Bible, it states, let the weak say, I am strong. So you got to say this physically out loud. So on those days when you're feeling not like your best self, sick and tired, down and out, speak positive things over your life. Go meet up with your friends so they can speak some positive things over your life. We just want to encourage and say uplifting things so you don't stay in that space. That's the point. You may not believe it right there in that moment, but once you tell yourself that enough over and over and over again, you will slowly then begin to believe it. So it is 3 of us joined together today, not including all of you all that are virtually tuned. Billions and trillions of y'all out there tuned in. We're going to go ahead and end this thing off with our positive affirmations. So who wants to go first?
I have one. I am creating a life that I love.
Yes.
I am making life fun.
I am living a life of abundance and ease.
Yes.
All
So
right,
Tiff,
guys.
let them know where to find us.
Yes, thank you guys so much for listening to us. We hope that you take these tips and you incorporate them in your life so we can all live a more joyful, fun life because life is supposed to be enjoyable. It's supposed to be lived. So, guys, make sure you follow us on all of our social media platforms. That's Soul Filling Podcast everywhere. SOULFILLING podcast. And if you are listening to us anywhere, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts. Make sure you give us a subscribe. And if you are listening to us on Apple Podcasts specifically, please give us a 5-star rating and write something soulful and sweet so we can go up and up on the rankings and so more people can hear us. And we are serious about this. We're not just saying it every time at the end of the podcast. So you cannot do it. We really would love for you guys to do it if you feel it in your heart. We love you guys so much and we cannot wait to talk to you next week.
Yes. Until next time, soulmates. Bye. We love
Bye.
y'all.